they wanted earlier.
Yeah.
That's a good point, Tom. And you wonder if Kansas City's going to go offense or defense here. Probably didn't trade up to grab a weapon, which you would have liked to see them do. 30th in the league in passing last year, which is absolutely atrocious. They have Dwayne Bowe. They have Tony Moyaki. They have some weapons. Wondering why they couldn't take it to the next level. But at the pick right now, getting their pick because Baltimore passed, probably will not take a receiver this early. So you look on the defensive side of the ball. The problem is Tamba Hali, who they drafted recently, great defensive end. So it's tough to see a guy like Bowers or a Brooks Reed or a Cameron Hayward go off the board. However, you could see them look outside linebacker. They have Derek Johnson, great middle linebacker for Kansas City right now. Brooks Reed, great outside linebacker on the board. Bowers can play outside linebacker, so you might see the Chiefs go that way. They have a great young defense right now with Hali and their secondary with Brandon Flowers and Eric Berry.
Well, you all have heard the names. Now let's see the 2010 team season recap for the Chiefs.
With a 10-6 record atop the AFC West and under the direction of Todd Haley, the pieces came together for Kansas City in 2010. Arrowhead Stadium, a place that came to be feared by opposing teams who found themselves swarmed by a sea of red that rivaled the 12th man of Seattle. Jamal Charles and Thomas Jones, a deadly 1-2 punch at running back that blossomed as the league's top rushing attack. Dwayne Bowe, a breakout wide receiver who posted over 1,000 yards and 15 touchdowns in his 5th season in the league. The Chiefs had the largest lead of any divisional leader 12 weeks into the season, taking the reins of AFC West dominance from the San Diego Chargers. But if they're to build on the success of last year's playoff team, they need to improve their 30th ranked passing attack, which requires a second receiving option behind Bowe, as well as improved play from former Tom Brady backup Matt Castle. The pieces are in place for this Kansas City team, but is this the year they all come together in championship form?
Let's take a minute here to clarify what is often a unique situation. The Baltimore Ravens did not get skipped. They meaningfully took a pass here. So the Chiefs jump into this spot for a moment here. Let's look at the Chiefs draft history to see where they've come from, overachieving a little bit in recent years. In 2007, the selection was Dwayne Bowe, a guy we've talked about, certainly a playmaker on the field from LSU. 2008, well, why not go back to the well again? Glenn Dorsey, the defensive tackle from LSU. 2009, you may be sensing a trend here. It's Tyson Jackson, the defensive end from LSU, except he did not work out whatsoever. 2010, back to the SEC. It's Eric Berry, the hard-hitting safety from Tennessee. You look at those guys there, the Chiefs have definitely been able to overachieve with some young talent, even making or coming close to the playoffs this year. Greg and Kurt, tell me about the Chiefs. What do you think is in their outlook?
Well, Joey, the Chiefs were a surprise playoff team this year, shocking everyone by winning the AFC West. Kurt, do you think that the Chiefs have the talent to possibly win this division once again this year?
Oh, I definitely think they have the talent. As long as Matt Castle continues to play well, they'll still get good running from Jamal Charles. And Dwayne Bowe is excellent. If he can keep that up again, that would be great. It would be great to see a number 2 wide receiver being taken here to play opposite side of Dwayne Bowe. Not sure the value is there right now. I would look offensive line for Kansas City Chiefs. Gabe Karimi from Wisconsin, I'm telling you, he needs to go off this board. He is a bruiser. He's someone who wants to get there. He wants to beat you up. This is a great talent, great player. I just don't think the wide receiver value is here at this point, but I could be wrong.
Absolutely no. I completely agree on the wide receiver. Still being a reach at this point in the draft, and the offensive line would definitely help Jamal Charles and Thomas Jones, who provided a deadly running back duo this past season. Now, looking past this, what could you see on the defensive side of the ball from the Chiefs? Could you see them choosing anything on that side as well?
I definitely think they need a big guy in the middle, a guy like Stephen Pyatt, someone to just clog the middle and eliminate holes for the opposing team running back. I think that'd be a big help for this team.
Absolutely. A lot of talent definitely on the board for the Kansas City Chiefs.
So much talent late in the first round here. Greg and Kurt, thank you very much. Let's see what the Chiefs decide to do with this selection.
With the 26th pick of the 2011 NFL Draft, the Kansas City Chiefs select Jonathan Baldwin, wide receiver, Pittsburgh.
Maybe the value for wide receiver wasn't there, but the Chiefs take one anyway. Jonathan Baldwin, the big wide receiver from Pitt.
When you look at Jonathan Baldwin, this is certainly a guy that passes the eyeball test. It's 6'4", 228. This guy is a physical specimen coming out of Pittsburgh. Guy can absolutely go up for the ball and make plays, and is really going to help this Kansas City Chief offense in addition to Dwayne Bowe. This guy's a playmaker. Really inconsistent at times, but the ability is there, as you see, as he makes a great leaping catch. This guy can make plays at the next level. The question is, can he do it every single week?
Right.
Yeah, I think this was a pretty great pick for the Kansas City Chiefs. They have some big weapons for Matt Castle now with Dwayne.
Yeah.
Dwayne Bowe's a big guy. Jonathan Baldwin's a big guy. Tony Maaki is absolutely huge at the tight end position. And Thomas Jones is no small guy either at running back. So Kansas City, pretty good pick for them. Definitely a bit of a stretch. Jonathan Baldwin, not really a first-round talent, maybe not even the next best wide receiver in the draft, looking at guys like Leonard Hankerson out of Miami, but certainly the biggest wide receiver after Julio Jones in this draft. Good pick for the Chiefs, upping their offense. Probably the second best offense still in the West behind San Diego,
Right.
but clearly above and beyond Oakland and Denver. So trying to bring back a bit of a rivalry with San Diego. I think KC made a good choice going with the offensive side of the ball.
Absolutely. Let's look at the last 5 picks in trying to recap what we've seen so far. John Baldwin was the pick recently by Kansas City. Maybe a bit of a reach, but certainly represents a very high potential. James Carpenter was the pick at 25. Still wrapping my mind around that one from Alabama. 24 was Cameron Jordan, the defensive end. That one made a little more sense to us. 23 was Danny Watkins, the firefighting offensive lineman from Baylor going to Philadelphia. And 22 was Anthony Costanzo. Let's go back to Jonathan Baldwin for a minute here, guys. He had some character issues that may have dropped him down the board a little bit. Tom, when you're evaluating prospects for the NFL draft, how much emphasis do you put on character?
I think you certainly have to take it into consideration every time, because scouts watch these guys every single game, every single year. And the issue is character fields off the field. That's something you don't usually have control, and we've seen the instances in the past. You've seen the Plaxico Burress issues, as the far side, the Michael Vick, even to as much as off-the-field drug issues. That teams have got to take it in consideration, but ultimately, at the end of the day, on-field production's got to weigh more than character issues, but it still counts a little bit.
See, here's the thing in the NFL. You talk about character issues, maybe knocking down some prospects, but it seems like it's always big names in the NFL who you're hearing about with these off-the-field issues.
True.
So clearly it's taking a backseat to talent. It
Right.
hasn't too much in this draft. One of the two big character issues that you saw coming into the draft, Nick Fairley, who dropped a lot in this draft, and Jimmy Smith, who's still on the board. So it seems the teams are taking it more into consideration, but you go with the best player available. If he's on top of your board in talent, that's who you pick.
And John Baldwin, let's not make any mistake here. A great talent at that position for the Kansas City Chiefs. Will he be able to reward them with great performance on the field? That is a question. The Baltimore Ravens, I guess better late than never, they are back on the clock, and they've made their pick.
With the 27th pick of the 2011 NFL Draft, the Baltimore Ravens select Jimmy Smith, cornerback, Colorado.
More defensive talent for an already loaded defense in Baltimore. Jimmy Smith, another guy with high upside, Tom.
Maybe in a situation where they just didn't want to pick him where they originally were. Jimmy Smith, this guy's a playmaker. We mentioned some of the off-the-field issues. Certainly doesn't take away from what he does on the field. This guy has got top-end speed, his ability to make plays, quick hands, good hands. Really is a great field vision. This situation right here, getting his hands there, making plays while defending A.J. Green. He's going to have to defend guys of that quality in the NFL at the next level. Jimmy Smith, solid pick, especially at this late in the first round.
Yeah, completely thrown away from more or less in his senior year, so definitely has the talent. Good pick by Baltimore. Getting a little old in the secondary. Sure, Ed Reed seems to never go away and will be a great guy for Jimmy Smith to learn from in the upcoming years, but certainly a little older at cornerback. Not the signature part of the Ravens' defense this past year was their pass defense. Much more of a run stopper with their front seven, so I think this is a great pick for them. Don't really understand the moving down a pick, but may have saved themselves a few bucks, so who are we to argue with that? But if you're going to try and make your defense better, especially in a division where you have to compete with the Pittsburgh Steelers defense, the forever Iron Curtain, one of the best defenses we've ever seen, number 2 in the league. So Baltimore had to make their defense better and did just that.
But maybe this is the spot in the draft where you draft guys on potential and overlook character issues, because Jimmy Smith, another guy with some drug-related issues coming out of college, not the highest of character. Are they taking a major chance here, Tom?
I don't have to think so, because you mentioned at this point in the draft, we saw last year with Des Bryant, with all his character issues at the end of the year, being picked